Okay, here we are. Welcome everyone to the sixth episode of Cool Collaboration Stay at Home Sessions. Today we have a very interesting topic, and we have Nandi with us, who will, Vico with me, of course, as always. And we have Nandi that will be showing us all about drones and FPV and all that jazz. Hi, Nandi.
Hello everyone. Okay, so as you probably know, this session will be about drones. We are focusing on, mostly FPV and camera drones. I'll tell you everything about this in a moment, especially about FPV because I have a feeling not many of you know about this type of flying. But first of all, what are drones? Well, drones are actually any type of machines which can be controlled remotely, so RC.
Okay.
But we are going to focus on quadcopters, which means they have 4 motors to keep them in the air, such as like this one. And I'll be focusing on these type of drones on this session. And so first of all, there are some categories. We can categorize these type of drones in, well, let's say in 4 categories, more like 3 categories. The first is the beginner type of drones, the toys. Probably you've seen these kind of drones before. Mostly they don't even have a camera. You can't really film anything. You're just playing with it, maybe on your phone. I don't know. Probably most of you have it or most of you tried it. This type of drone, it's fairly easy to remote it. It's nothing special, but you'll have fun if you have this type. But of course, I won't focus on this one. The next one, which I don't have at home, is the camera or filming drones, which are of course used in films or in any photography. I am not master of that sector, that part of drones. I mostly focused on FPV drones, aka racing drones. And first of all, what does FPV drone mean? What does it stand for? FPV. FPV means first person view, which basically means that you have a goggles like this one. I'm showing on this view, and basically you're seeing what the drone sees. And I have a drone here which I actually built about 2 years ago, so it's quite an old rig, but yes, I'm flying with this. Here's the small camera. I am seeing everything from the VR headset or the goggles. And well, it's also called racing drone because you can actually race. It was actually built to race with these things, and this can this can go really fast, around, I don't know, 120, 30 kilometers per hour. So really, really fast. And but it's actually important to mention that it's really hard to remote these kind of things. It's not like just a toy, beginner drone, entry-level drone. This is fairly easy to remote. You can learn it in, I don't know, like a few days or a few hours. But but with this one, I had been learning it for let's say for 2 months, even just to turn back. So it's quite complicated, and it's a different style of flying. I'll be showing some example footages about this one. But yes, that's basically the first thing I wanted to
I
clear.
have a question. I have a question,
Yes,
and
yes.
also I'll
I
also
stop. Okay, yes.
ask people
This was
to
the first one.
leave more questions if they have. I guess personally, like, how did you get started in the drone?
Well, many people recommended throughout videos, but many people recommended me to start with building my own, but I didn't do that because I felt like I would screw up something and put my whole drone or whole parts on fire. So I bought a rebuilt one basically, but it was still a big struggle to put it together. So I had to search for the right controller, for the right VR headset. So it took a while to get into the air. But yeah, basically I I searched YouTube videos. I watched many videos how to build one, and one of the most beneficial part to build one is that if you break something, which of course you will, then it's fairly easy for you to repair it. So yes. But there are some good YouTube channels I can recommend if someone wants to start it from the beginning.
What's the cost of the, for example, the beginner one, and how much does it cost to build a racing one? Not the most expensive, but like a kind of okay-ish which you can race and try.
Begin entry level.
Yeah, as a starter kit.
Well, actually, the speed doesn't really relate to the cost, the expenses. You can basically build a drone for almost like €100, and it can go like 150 kilometers per hour. So, but you're not counting the radio, the VR headset, the goggles, and actually there are many things you most probably forgot to count, such as the charger itself, the LiPo batteries, because they also cost some money, and antennas and things like that. So, if you all put it together as a beginner, it will cost around, let's say, the least is around $300, around, let's say, 200, 300. So yeah, but you can get these kind of stuff, which is actually a better start to get into FPV, these are called the tiny hoops. It's basically the same as the big one. It has more or less the same flight characteristics, but it's a little bit easier to fly, but harder to crash. And I'll be flying this actually at the end of this session, or somewhere in the middle of this session. So yeah, stay tuned if you want to see that coming. And yes, that's basically the first part. If you have any questions right now, you can leave it in the comments, and I'll try to answer everything.
Abel is asking, where do you usually fly?
I live in a small village, so it's fairly easy for me to just get out to the fields and fly somewhere. It's actually not the best spot isn't the one which is the clearest one, like a clear field, because I'm doing freestyle. I'll be explaining what is freestyle means, but because I'm doing that kind of thing, I'm just flying around. It's better to have some obstacles, which I can have some tricks around, let's say. And maybe abandoned buildings, also good spots to fly. But yeah, mostly I'm flying around in my house and in the village. So yes. Okay. Any more questions?
Well, no, that's it.
Okay. So I guess we can get into a little bit more into the technical part. I will try to explain everything as simple as possible, but yeah, first of all, what are the mandatory, the essential things if you want to build? I mean, if it doesn't mean you have to build a drone, but let's say we got this small drone. This is just a toy which you can remove from your phone, let's say. But there are some parts which you must need, which are essential to fly this thing, to get this into the air. These parts are I'm showing my drone part, so it doesn't look the same in this build, of course, but one is the FC, also called the flight controller. It's the acronym FC, the flight controller. This is basically the brain of the drone. You have to connect everything to this. This has the gyroscope, every sensor you can think of, basically, and this will send the information to everything in the drone. This is the ESC, the electrical speed controller. I know it sounds complicated, but it's basically just the thing which you connect your motors into. So this will just distribute every power you will need. And here it's built in. These two parts are built together, basically, forms one big part, and the motors are just connected to this inside the drone. So it's not that complicated, but you still need to know what you're building. And basically one of the most essential part all of them are, but this is the receiver. This is the thing which, of course, receives all the information. It's quite a small thing, but this receives all the information from the radio itself. But well, of course, speaking of which, you will probably need a radio or some sort of controlling system. This is the radio I'm using, but it's quite an expensive one. If you want to get into the drones, it's maybe a good choice if you want to be a professional, but yes, it's not a cheap one, but you can customize everything, and yes, it's actually almost compatible with everything you can think of. So yes, and maybe I'll be talking about the controller itself a little bit more in the middle of the session, or I don't know, when I'll be flying my small drone. But yes, these are the essential parts for flying a drone. But let's say you want a filming drone, a good camera drone, let's say DJI, because that's the probably the most famous, most known brand. Well, you of course need a camera for it. This is a FPV camera, but of course the DJI has a different type of one, which with gimbals, which are stabilizing all the footages. But this is an important thing if you want basically anything out of the drone. This is what you are seeing your footage with if you're going out of sight, and this is what will record everything you will need in a camera drone, because in FPV drones it's a little bit different story. I'll be explaining that in a moment. But if you have a DJI drone, let's say, you will also need some video transmitters, aka VTXs or VTX. This is the one which is basically directly connected to the camera, and you just put an antenna on it. It's of course built into a DJI one, but there is the antenna which transmits all the information to your phone, your goggles, to any kind of screen you need. So it's just connected together and sending all the information right where you need it. And yes, these are the parts for the filming drone. And for an FPV drone, it's basically the same as with a filming drone. So the FPV drone is more or less the same as a filming drone in the sense of parts, but this is sending analog signal, which is a way worse quality signal, but the latency, let's say, it's way less noticeable, and it's really important if you're going like I don't know, 130 kilometers per hour, because you'll crash and you won't even notice it just a few seconds later. So it's an important thing. But yes, these are basically all the things you will need if you want to build an FPV drone, or if you want to build any kind of drone, basically, or if you just want to understand what they are made from. I'll just stop here for a second, and maybe if someone has a question, maybe Rui, Vico, if you have any questions.
No, I mean I've flown the camera ones. I never tried to fly the racing ones, but I guess the way you get the filming ones, they're like completely packaged, and like they come out of the box and everything works and it's so on.
Yes.
How hard is it to actually assemble all of that? And
yeah, actually this is a good question, because I'll be explaining everything in the next part. I mean, I won't explain how you have to put it together, but most of you probably think if I put together a drone, it will take like weeks and weeks to get it all together. But if I know what I'm doing, it can take like for one or 2 days basically. But the more complicated part begins when I want to configure it, because if you build it, you put it together, it doesn't mean that it will fly. It will probably not. You will have to spend weeks and weeks to get all set up. And I think I can show you actually a configurator for my drone, and you can see how well I don't want to scare anyone, but you can basically see how complicated it can get. You have all the options you can think of basically. And yes, I'll be sharing the screen with you.
Okay.
Until then, you can ask questions.
Actually, I wanted to say that I tried 2 types of drones. One, the DJI, which we have. It cannot be easier to handle a drone like that.
Yeah.
But then I have a friend who is building his own drones as well. He had some projects and stuff, but he's even programming the drones how to work. And I saw the parts everywhere in his room, and it's, it's like a complete disaster.
It's messy.
And a good suggestion: never save money on any of the parts, because he bought the receiver, the signal receiver for the remote, but he bought a Bluetooth and not a Wi-Fi or something. So he bought a cheaper one. And when he made the drone to fly up, and he lost the signal, and the drone just like
Yeah,
Continued.
flew away. It started to go down because he programmed, so when it loses the signal, it will go down. But the wind took it and it flew somewhere else.
Yeah, that's why you have to set up the failsafe, the best you can basically think of. Wait, I'll be sharing my screen so you can see the configurator I'm using. This is called Betaflight. You can all see it, hopefully.
Yep.
So yeah, this is basically the main page. These are the random switches. I won't explain anything. Maybe if you have some questions, but yes, I'll just scroll down so you can see all the different type of things you can set up with many tabs and many options. And of course, I know most of them, but not all of them. So I'm still learning these things.
Meanwhile,
but yeah, that's.
Sorry. Meanwhile, is Abel asking which parts are breaking the most, and Afonso have his hand raised. So.
Okay. Well, yeah, that's actually a good question. The parts which are breaking the most are. Wait, I'll stop the sharing. Are mostly the propellers, but I wouldn't consider them as parts. maybe these are parts, but of course they are breaking the most. Well, after that, maybe the motors, probably. Let's say the motors, and with my previous frame, probably the video transmitter. So because the antenna broke all the time, yeah. And I forgot to mention that yes, these are the frames which I'm using, and which basically every FPV drone is made from. These are made from carbon fiber, so it's really stiff material. But yeah,
and light.
Just a side note. Yes, and really light. Yes, exactly.
Louis, can you please unmute Raimundo Afonso or make me a co-host so I can unmute him?
Of course.
Thanks.
My bad. Can you do it now?
Yeah.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes, we can hear you. Hello.
The amazing stuff that you are telling us, and my question would be: you explain it right now. Like I flew DJI as well, like Vico said, and they seem really fragile drones. You know, if you have a kind of a small crash, it can be a big problem for the drone. Mm-hmm. And I was wondering if those kind of drones are prepared for those accidents, you know, because they seem to go at a bigger speed, so there is a bigger chance of crashing.
Yeah, we lost Afonso there in the end. But,
I think I understood what he was.
But yeah, I guess they go faster. So
yes, actually, it doesn't. I mean, yeah, there is a connection between that part, but these are more durable because. Yeah, basically these are more durable because they are going faster, but the DJI ones are more less durable because the main focus for those ones are to have a longer flight time
to go slow
and
as well.
Better camera. So yes, and go slower. So the main focus for those ones to have a better flight performance. So I mean longer flight performance. So yes, for these ones, these can only fly for like 5 minutes or so. So it's really a short one. that you can just switch the LiPo batteries and you can go on the next one. So yes, but yeah, these are really durable ones. Actually, once I crashed with the full throttle, like 130 kilometers per hour into the concrete, and nothing broke except from some props. So
Wow.
Just the wall.
And
but
I think
yeah,
Vico's
these
car
are-
would not survive.
Come on, that car survived more than anything else in this world. But it's the same, cost €100 and goes 150.
Exactly. Yeah. Also, the DJI ones, they are like, I think more and more they are crash free. Like you really have to be clueless.
Yeah, the obstacle
To crash
avoidance
because
and everything. Yes.
It has all the sensors and everything is programmed to, so you don't crash, I guess.
Those are
They
actually
call
almost
it
impossible to
leak-proof.
crash.
It's almost.
I know
mean,
some
the,
people.
The new one, we haven't managed to crash it, I think.
Nice.
So
Congratulations. Yeah, those are actually really hard to crash. So
yeah.
I haven't flown them too many times, but yeah, I know that those are fairly easy to control and hard to crash.
Yeah.
Basically, you don't even have to control them. You just set a point which they have to follow, and you're done. You can lay back. So,
You can program
yes, but
everything.
for example, with these drones, I think I'll be showing them when I'm flying. But these have different flight characteristics, which means that if you give them an input, for example, let's say here's the controller. If you give them an input, let's say you're hovering like this, and you tilt it a little bit, like so, then it will just stay like this. If you just put away this the controller, the drone will keep flying like this, and it will stay how you put it in. If you're pushing it forward, then it will tilt forward till you let the stick go, which basically means that you can flip. If you're giving it full throttle, it will flip. You just have to let it go whenever you want to stop, basically. And I know it sounds, well, maybe simple, maybe complicated. The thing is that this will make a huge difference in terms of flight characteristics. So yeah, this was just a side note. Probably you will see when I'm flying the small drone. So yes, and that's all about that. I'm trying to make it as how to put it, not as dry. Wait. Okay. Anyway, so I don't want to have a dry session, but it's really hard to talk about these parts and everything without getting into all the electronics. But yes, if you have any questions, there are no stupid questions about this one.
Do you want to show any of the videos or?
Yes, I think I can. I'm just checking if I have any. Yes, I forgot to share the screen. I had some pictures about all the type of drones. I can show you now. Here. So, can you all see it? I just go through. So this is the camera drone, the DJI drone. Probably you're all familiar with this one, but these are all the FPV drones, and there are like 5 different type of FPV drones, and I have 2 of them at home. One is the Cinevoop, basically, which is the really small one. Basically, it's good for inside flying. I just lay back in my bed and fly around the house, annoy everything, especially the dogs. This is the bigger one. This is more like a freestyle one, which means that basically it's the same with skateboarding. You're just flying wherever you want. You do tricks, whatever you want, basically. And it's the closest to flying and feeling like you're a bird, let's say. The next is a racing drone, which is in the middle. That's the drone which his main focus is to fly as fast and as possible and handle the corners as good as possible. I haven't flown those kind of things, but basically my mind does almost the same. And the last one is probably the most exciting one for many people, which is the long range, which means that you can just lay back and fly your drone to mountain, like, I don't know, 8 kilometers away and fly really high and just enjoy all the view. That's a really, really nice thing, and I really want to try it once. It of course costs more, but yeah, you can get really good footages. And I think you can show the videos. Rui, I sent
which
sent
ones?
you.
So, you want me to show the DJI first? And
Yes, the DJI.
so basically,
I think-
these are footage from taken from drones, so you can see the difference, I guess.
Probably most of you are familiar with DJI, but yeah, I just wanted to show
Okay,
you.
I'm gonna show you. Just a second.
Meanwhile, my second question, if you're using all of them or just
Nah.
So that was
Basically-
the DJI.
The next one is wait.
So basically,
Yes.
these are drones for filming. So you see the footage was like super cinematic.
Yes,
or-
exactly. Yeah, the next
that's
one, it's also for filming. This is
Okay.
good for inside, and it's basically for projects also. It's a really unique way of
That would
showing your
be Cine Hoop. is that it?
Cinehoop. Yes, Cinehoop.
Okay, let's see that.
There's two realities going on here. We play against the other ones, and we've got the reality of, the things that we're working on, and then we have the reality of this dream world. And the real way I set about building the place was, I imagine back when I'm 7 years old, and I'm laying in bed and looking at the ceiling, and all of a sudden, I start seeing faces, and that leads to another thing. And so what we've done is decided to build things only out of found objects. Not just to save you any money, but it forces you to use things that you ordinarily wouldn't use. And being, thousands of people have designed these different objects in here, it gives you different points of view. And so we call it City Museum because, I like City Museum because it's generic, it doesn't really say anything, it doesn't pin me down.
Yep. So that was the Cine Hoop. So yeah, it's a crazy. It looks a bit crazy, like something is just floating around the house or something.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
It's also good to use for. Oh, I'm still sharing the screen. So you can basically use it for advertisement videos. That's actually quite a new thing, and
For
It's
real
like-
estate, I imagine, like for filming apartments.
yes,
and
yes,
so- yeah,
actually, yes, that's one use of it,
yeah. Okay.
and it's a really new thing, like 1 year old. So people are starting to notice it.
Okay.
basically.
So the next one
for
will be
advertisement.
racing drones. Is that it?
Yes, racing drone. This looks the
It's a very
craziest
short video, but
all of us. Yeah, you get the
you
point.
can see how it looks from a racing drone perspective.
Yes, the analog
Second.
signal. This is how it looks.
Yeah. So that's a bit that's crazy to watch.
Yeah,
Makes you you get a
It's
bit
sick.
sick. Yeah.
exactly.
So
yeah.
how big is the drone competition? Like, can you like in Hungary? You're from Hungary, but can you actually find competitions of drones like easily or?
There are some, yes. I haven't been to one, but yeah, there are some in Hungary. But there are some bigger events, like in Dubai. There was a really, really big one with like the price was around. I don't know how much was it, but it was a lot. So,
Okay.
yeah, there are some bigger events, and it's actually getting more and more popular. This all
So
racing.
basically, they're like obstacle courses with.
Yeah, there are some crazier ones, not like this one. This is just a flat surface which you are flying, but you can go crazy if you want to. especially in simulators, because there are some races in simulators. Those are really crazy ones. By the way, how many viewers do we have?
Around
Just a quick-
900.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
32.
nice. Okay, nice.
But yeah, do you want to speak more and we go back to these videos after? It can be also like, we leave some for the end.
Still,
Or fine.
Bimbi is asking, I don't understand nothing from the questions, but maybe you will. What about the bird-shaped drones?
Bird-shaped drones.
And I don't really know what he wanted to say by that.
The bird-shaped drones. Planes?
Or maybe the drones which looks like birds and they can spy on you.
Yes, I think, okay. I don't know anything about that. Sorry.
Okay, let's act. We don't know what's that.
Okay. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Thank you, Bimbi, for embarrassing us a little bit. We can continue.
Yeah, just continue. You were going
Okay.
to...
Maybe I show every kind of drone, and after it I can continue, and
Okay,
I'll be showing the last one.
So the next one we had was freestyle, which is the one
Yes.
you showed.
Yes, exactly. The freestyle is
And,
basically what I am doing.
Actually, I can
around-
play it and you can talk about what is freestyle droning, let's say, at the same time, okay?
Yeah, sure. Are you playing it?
Drone.
Yeah, explain. So
Okay, yeah. So freestyle is basically the style where you're allowed to do anything you want. Every kind of drone style is allowed to do anything you want, but in freestyle, basically, the better tricks, the smoother tricks you do, the better you are, and the better your footage you will get. And there are some good spots like abandoned buildings where you can crash, of course, but the higher the risk, the better the footage looks, and the more awesome you are, of course. But
that looks crazy, like
yeah, it's really cool. I think it's really
going
smooth
in and out
and
of the buildings and between
continuous.
the trees and
yes, it's a really cool one.
spinning
I'm not
around.
that good at it, but I'm still practicing it, and I'm
Okay.
getting better and better. So it's, I think, a really cool one, actually.
Okay.
My favorite.
I have to try it next time we meet. Definitely.
Oh, my drone.
Not too.
Maybe a simulator.
Okay, maybe a simulator. Yeah, maybe you can link a simulator somehow.
Actually, yes, but you'll need a controller for it, so.
Okay.
Well,
we
maybe you
will
can
put
connect DJI controller.
I say you can put links in the comments later, like about
Yes,
where we can find all these things. So the last one we have is long range. I guess you were talking about how to. Yeah.
It's basically the closest to DJI drones, but well, you will see. But it's a different style. So
okay, I will
here
play
the camera
it
is
and
more loose.
You can describe it.
There is nothing too much to describe about, but basically it's more like from a bird view, not from because a DJI drone can only fly in straight lines, but this
one
one
can shape and twist and.
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
It's not that hard to fly in this style.
Though.
Yeah, it's also looks really cool.
I don't know where this place is, but.
In Switzerland.
Okay.
Explains everything.
Yeah. Yes. Feels like a bird.
Yeah. And because you're watching it from the goggles, you actually feel like you're like birds.
Yeah, but this
it's a really
is
nice thing.
This is filmed with a GoPro or something, no?
Yes, that's actually that's a good point. I forgot to mention that I have in this drone I have this small camera, but of course this isn't the camera which records everything. What you've seen in that racing drone video, this is the one which you will get the quality. But if you're flying like freestyle or long range, you're most probably need a GoPro or some sort of camera like this, and I can just put it on my drone basically anytime, and it will have some more weight, but yes, at least I have some better
more
footage.
Quality footage. Yeah, okay.
Not a bit, way better. Yes, those are really shitty ones actually. with the analog signal. It always breaks. But actually, DJI just got into the FPV drone part, and he managed to pull out a really new way of transmitting video, let's say, and you can get really clear video for, I don't know, 8 kilometers, and it's really expensive, but it's really nice way of flying, actually. Not with analog signal, but with a way cleaner signal. But yes, it's just as a side note. And I think we showed every type of drone, right?
Yeah. In terms of the videos you sent me, those are
Yeah.
those are it.
Yes, I didn't show you the Cine Hoop. No, not Cine Hoop, Tiny Hoop one. But I'll be flying that in, like, I don't know, 15 minutes. But first I want to get some things done before.
And
just
we will post these videos on the comments.
Yes, but actually these are just random videos I found. You can search for these type of things. There are dozens and dozens of videos on YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, and before I start flying around my house and annoy everyone, I'll be showing you some. Well, first, just some things about the LiPo batteries. Sharing my screen. And it's just as a side note, if you want to get into FPV, the first thing you want to know is how to handle the LiPos, because these are not just some random batteries you just put into the charger and you're done. You have to take care of them. If you're not charging them well, you're not keeping care of them, basically it can get on fire, or it can puff, it can damage itself. So it's a quite dangerous thing to keep it around the house. So
can you actually fly? Can you actually go on an airplane with those, or?
If you discharge them, yes.
Okay.
Below, I don't know how many watts you can, but I don't know in Europe.
How do they check that anyway?
They don't, but say they do. It's in Europe, or basically around the world, it's these regulations are really loose, actually. So actually, by the law, you need some papers.
You can make the presentation full screen. Maybe it's easier to see.
Yeah. Oh, not from the beginning. Okay, never mind.
Okay,
okay, so yes, and but yeah, it's you don't really have to care that much about these things. You need paper to fly a drone above 250 grams, but no one gives a damn about this. So even
and that's why DJI made a drone that is 249 grams.
Exactly.
The Mavic Mini. Yeah.
But yes, of course, I also have all the papers I need to fly my drone. Yeah. So these are some misconceptions, or I don't know, I just put a random meme to this, but yeah, there are some truth behind it. Actually, my twin brother thinks that I'm just wasting my time and my money on these things, but I mean, maybe he's right. I don't know, but I feel like that if I can feel like I'm a bird every time I go flying, that maybe it's not the worst thing to spend on my money on. So yeah, that's one thing. Also, important thing, the FAA part. Basically, this is only related to America, in the US. FAA wants this. FAA is basically the okay, I won't explain it because I wouldn't be able to.
The state organization that regulates the airspace and everything.
Yes, basically yes. And he wants FPV drones to be illegal to fly, except if you have some papers for it or something like this.
So if you pay.
I didn't. Yeah, exactly. So it will be quite complicated for all the FPV drone pilots to fly FPV. So yeah, that's a big problem. Yes, I just also This is
Federal
basically
Aviation Administration. Okay.
yeah, it's a huge problem in the US. Fortunately, not in Europe for now, but we will see. Maybe it will ruin my hobby, but yeah, hopefully not.
Okay.
Yeah, these were the things. I just check if I forgot to say some. Maybe you can ask some questions if you have. If
Yeah,
you
do you have
have.
any comments or
No,
no? Okay.
nothing new.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't have any question.
Okay. Well, I don't know what else can I say about this part. I mean, of course, most of you are waiting for this one to fly this small drone. I'll be sharing my screen so you can see everything. But yeah, what else?
Okay.
I mean, yeah, maybe I can mention the benefits of having FPV drone over DJI drone, because there are many actually. Only problem with these drones, it's really hard and complicated to get into this hobby, because you have to do your own research on it, or you can ask me if you want to. I can help you. I'm not a professional, but I've been in this hobby for 2.5 years around, so I know some things. But yeah, basically, there are the benefits of having an FPV drone is there are no sensors on it, so you can fly as close to objects as you want, which can also be disadvantage. But I consider this as an advantage if you're a good pilot.
Yeah.
But you can basically do any kind of tricks you want. You can flip upside down and just make a free fall, or I don't know. And also you can get close to the ground as close as you want. You can do power loops, which is basically means you can go around objects like this. I think you've seen it on the freestyle videos. Also, basically there are some, not modes, but you can flip some switches in the configurator, which means that you can fly actually upside down. It will turn the motors clockwise and counterclockwise, so you can get your drone upside down and keep flying. So that's actually almost also a really beneficial thing. But yeah, the only problem is that why people don't really get into this hobby is that it's really complicated to get all the things together, because not all the parts are compatible. So
Abel,
yeah.
Abel have a question.
Well.
How serious do you think the regulations should be?
I haven't heard any stories about having problems with this, apart from the fact that you can fly into people's territory or home and you can spy on them. But I mean, this drone is around, I don't know, 60 grams, and so it wouldn't even need any papers. And actually DJI, just as we mentioned, just pulled out a drone which is under 250 grams, so you don't need any paper for that, and you can still get really good.
I mean, it can be dangerous. It has been used before for bad things. Like I remember, for example, I think Serbia-Albania game a few years ago, some guy made a flag, came down it was a big polemic because of that. Also, I guess people flying near the airports, and so
yeah,
it makes some sense to have some regulation, but if it makes sense to have regulation everywhere, it's a different
yeah, like I haven't heard any bad stories about this, at least not as much.
I know, for example, with DJI, because we use it very often. So with DJI, the thing is, there's some places that you are not even allowed to fly around. So like if you're near a stadium now, or if you're near a prison, or
I know
near an airport, the drone will not even
it's coded into its own system.
It's something like really forbidden, and you shouldn't go there, and could harm or be dangerous in the airport or something. You shouldn't do it, and the regulations are okay. But for the spying on other people, like the spyings are happening from the beginning of the cameras, so this is just a little bit next level, but still the same.
Spy anyway.
We shouldn't.
But yeah, maybe. But yeah,
if someone wants, he can do it without the drone as well. So
Yeah. So the regulations are, well, they are strict, but no one really pays attention for them. So not even the government itself. So
Just you do.
yes, I mean, yeah, of course I do, but yeah, no one else.
Important is to fly safe, I guess. Yeah.
Like I met some cops driving around here, and I was scared that they'll stop me and ask all the questions. But they were like, "Whoa, awesome, nice, flying your drone. Your I don't know 1 kilogram, 130 kilometers per hour drone flying around. Nice, nice." Yeah.
Okay.
Well,
I know there are a few
all of this.
rules, basic rules, and we can find them. Maybe we can link them in the comments after, also, like sort of code of conduct of flying drones, I guess. You have a question, Vico? Or
Just about saying that they had a quadcopter with a GoPro fall in our backyard once. We do not like the owner.
Okay.
So some random guy's drone fall into their backyard. Okay.
And you got free GoPro, if I understand it right.
Yeah, he didn't
Yes,
like the owner, so
You didn't give back the GoPro, okay.
maybe he have never seen that GoPro.
Okay. Okay. That's all the questions.
Yep, nothing
yeah, I
more.
think for now that's it.
Okay, then. Well, I don't know. Should I fly it? Should we
Yeah,
try it?
Let me just.
I
You can just link
get-
it up. I will prepare it.
Yeah,
It'll be-
I just prepare everything else.
to be full
I need-
screen.
Yeah.
So basically, it will be streaming on
just-
this second camera of yours, or
Not on my first camera, which you
Okay.
can see my face on.
okay. So
You can put it the big
I'm gonna
screen
make
because
it
I
big
will.
one. And yes. And
Okay.
we're
Okay, I just have to switch everything. It will take a minute, but and yes, I plug this in. This is
So
just
you-
a random
said you
receiver,
were-
actually.
yeah, you were doing it for 2.5 years.
Yes, around 2.5 years,
Okay.
if I
And
remember.
what
well.
actually led you to start, like?
I had always been interested in drones, I guess. I was always asking for drones for my present, birthday present. So, and I just saw some like freestyle freestyle videos on YouTube, and I thought that even if it's hard, then I can try it. Maybe I'll sell
Okay.
everything, but yeah, I just really wanted to try it. It looked really cool, and I'm still doing it, and I really enjoy it. So yeah.
Welcome back, Nandi.
How your drone speaks to you.
Yes, this is the controller. Yes, actually, you can customize these things. You can make them really stupid, but this is the
Okay,
Drone.
the connection is a bit bad, but we will try. Wait,
drone.
yeah, we stopped seeing you, Nandi. Okay, Nandi died. Is the first.
First camera is gone.
First time it happens during the sessions. Not sure how to fix it.
Turn it off and turn it on.
Yes.
Classic hacker
Let's
move.
wait for. Let's wait for Nandi to get back,
Mm.
or for his first camera, because the second camera is still technical issues. Nandi, can you hear us, or? Maybe you can unmute the other one, Vico.
So,
like this second
I,
cam, right?
I did, but
Ah, okay, he has to. No, he would have to accept it. So, okay. I don't know if he can hear us or not.
I texted him, but he's not flying yet, so
No.
nothing's lost.
Interesting TV moment.
Yeah. Sandra, please sing something.
Okay.
I will
Andy.
sing the
I
bird
am
in the
back.
house.
Jeez, I don't know what happened, but I am back.
Nandi, I just wanted to save you.
You can still save me.
No, just show us the drone.
So now we have.
Okay,
we have
it
three-
was to see it, but yeah.
Ah, we have 3 feeds now. Okay.
Yeah.
3 feet? Jeez, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, there is one.
How many twins do you have?
Oh. Wait. Okay.
so
Now
this
you
one,
can
let-
see me. Now we can always see
Let
the.
me pin
Yes, I'll-
this one.
Yes, and I'll
this will be
flip
the. This will be the. thing.
and okay.
Perfect.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you didn't hear the startup tune, right?
No.
The tone.
No, it's talking.
Yes. Oh, we missed that part. Yes, my controller is talking.
Yeah, we heard that. We heard that.
Yeah. Okay.
Throttle warning.
And I just switch it, and I just put this away so you can.
Do
See
people
how I
actually do
am.
this now and then, like I imagine competitions and stuff? Do they live stream?
Yes, they do.
Yeah.
You mean the footage, the signal?
Yeah, like in.
Yes,
net-
of course they do. Yes,
Okay.
that's the most important thing, basically. So yes, now I'm putting this stupid goggles on so I can also see what you see. Hopefully,
We
if
see
I don't screw this up,
a lot of static.
I have to
If
put
you
my
are in
headset down.
if you are in another space, then we can see it.
Exactly.
Yes, I just started. Yes, can you all see it?
Yeah, that's cool.
Cool. Okay. Then just watch and learn, everyone.
Okay.
Yes, sir. Yes.
Oh, I
nice,
picked
clean
the-
room.
Buying. Okay, yeah, this is actually really durable one. So
That's amazing. So how much cleanup did you do before all of this?
you know, I don't think I should answer to this.
Oh, the whole house. Look.
Oh, you even cleaned under the sofa. Look at that.
I'm cleaning with this.
with
No, I screwed this up.
Yeah, when we told
That's
the
super cool.
when we told the
And-
when we told the guys to prepare for the presentation, everybody was making notes and Nandi was cleaning the house.
Yes. And now I'm flipped upside down, and maybe I won't even be able to flip it up. Yes, I could.
There you
Okay.
go. Man, that's so cool.
Buying. So yeah,
You're a bit nervous.
I'm not the
today.
best.
Land now.
Yes, this battery is dying on me, so I
So
shouldn't
it
fly.
is like you said, like 5 minutes. Something.
It's not even 5 minutes. It was this battery is actually I overused it, so I shouldn't
Uh-huh.
use the I shouldn't use this one, but I am still using it because
And
I am
when it-
too lazy to buy another one. So
When it's
So
fully
if it-
charged, how much can it last?
So it will blow up in the. in the
it
back
can
end.
last for. Now it's really dying. If it's a if it's a good battery, buying. Okay. Nice flying, right?
Awesome.
Okay.
Awesome.
Cool.
If it would be a good battery, then it would last for around 5 minutes.
Yeah.
So yeah, and just
Yeah, that was super cool.
as you can see, I look like this if I'm flying, so it's quite stupid, but this is the best way I can see everything. So yeah, I forgot to fly outside the house, but
And how much
doesn't
does it
really
take to charge the battery?
around 20 minutes, 15. It depends on how fast I'm charging it. If I charge it faster, then it means that it will reduce the endurance. Basically, the
life
how
cycles are.
yes, the life cycle basically.
Okay. So it will,
So yes,
to become
there
less
is a-
powerful faster as well.
exactly.
That's
Okay.
cool.
So yeah,
Yeah,
that's
cool.
basically all.
If we have
Of
any
course, I'm
questions,
flying
or-
better with the bigger one, but I won't be
So
able to fly.
let's now check the
Side.
questions. Abel cannot stop talking as usually. Wait. Okay, they gave back the quadcopter. That's nice.
Okay. And the
Good
GoPro.
thing that is disarmed. I was a bit worried about the guns.
Okay.
Okay,
Mm.
Bimbi is happy. Okay, no more
Bimbi
questions.
sent
more
us the
questions?
pictures of the. I don't know if you saw, but
I've seen.
of the bird-shaped drones. I don't know how I can share this, but it's basically drones that are in the shape,
Oh,
like really in the shape of a bird.
oh
you seen what
yes,
he
yes,
sent
yes, I
under
know
that?
them. Yes, I know all of them.
And then he sent a squirrel
Uh.
in shape of a drone.
with stuffed animals
Ah,
and stuff. It's really weird. Bimbi, you have a problem.
Thank you, Wimby.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. I guess that's all I wanted to say or mention or show. If you have any questions, I didn't go into the more technical part, but I was trying to.
I was trying to think if I have any question. Maybe Afonso or Sandra want to say something or no?
Let's unmute them. Sandra told me she's afraid because she won't be able to ask questions, but let's unmute her and make us tell her.
I don't have questions.
Oh,
But Nandi, it was super cool, the drone thing. I really liked it.
Thank you very much.
Yes, it was amazing. Congratulations.
Thank you. Well, maybe one pro tip, also for the ones who are flying DJI drones. I don't know if you knew that, but if you want to get the most range, then maybe your antenna should point this way because it's transmitting basically all the signals this way, not this way. So maybe
Yeah,
really, if you want to get a little bit
We've
more,
had fights with about that. Like, should you
With
be
who?
standing up with colleagues? But should you be standing up? Should you be standing front? Like, yeah.
as far as I
Okay.
know, it's the same type.
The
as
magic
this one,
is
so.
solved. The
make
mystery
it stand
solved.
up and then it's better. Okay,
Yep.
that's the
Uh,
pro tip.
Okay.
Yeah, and I think if
Okay.
we have any guy who is pretty interested or any friend who is watching and want to learn something new, they can text Nandi.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I was
for
gonna
sure,
ask
I
this,
can-
how much did that small one cost actually, and how can you? Where did you order it from actually? I'm having
I
ideas.
ordered it from Banggood. It's a really
Okay.
cheap, random Chinese website.
Yeah.
But this costs around $100 around.
Wow,
But
the
so-
small one as well.
yes, this one.
Okay.
Around maybe a little bit less. But I mean, I could have got this cheaper. But the point is that if you want to get into it, you shouldn't count on only the drone itself because, well, as I mentioned, you need a charger like this. This also costs around at least $50. The radio itself, if you don't want to change it over time, maybe it's around $100, at least this one, and it's actually a really good quality one, and you can actually put modules into it, so you can upgrade everything you need. But if you need batteries, then one battery also costs like around $30 or so. I mean, what else? The VR headset itself, at least $100. So, and it will go even higher. So, it's actually also a really important
Okay.
thing to count on. So, all the things are, if you put everything together, then it will cost quite a lot of money. If you want to get
Sounds a
started.
lot, but if you consider that it's for the price of an Xbox or PS4,
Yes,
Yeah,
I mean,
pretty much.
but
you
this
can
is
get
this is the beginner part, of course. If you want to build a long range drone, let's say, then it will cost if you want to get a module, you will need a module for the drone, for the radio. So it costs like plus, I don't know, 100. If you want to put a better receiver, transmitter, camera for long range, then it will cost like another, I don't know, $150 or even more. So if you add that up, and actually better motors, probably more efficient ones, and a bigger battery and everything, so it will start to add up quite quickly.
Okay. I'm thinking a youth exchange or even maybe just a training course about this would be an amazing idea to organize. Yeah, and if who is watching, if they also think like that, just write it down. Because for me it would be cool.
Yeah, I mean, this was just the surface of everything. I mean, there are many things going.
Meanwhile, we have some questions.
Oh,
Guess who's asking?
Abel.
How much do you prepare for a flying session? Do you just charge batteries, or do you have something else to do as well?
Good question. Mostly I only need to charge the batteries individually because I don't have any type of plugs, parallel chargers, which means I could plug all the batteries into this like a board and it would charge everything all together. But I don't have them, so I have to plug one out, plug another one in, plug another one out, and so on and so on. And so it will take quite a lot of time, like I don't know, 2 hours to charge like 4 or 5 batteries. But basically, I only need to charge the batteries. Sometimes I need to charge the batteries to my controller and to my goggles. But that's basically it.
And clean the room.
It's not complicated.
Clean the room. Okay.
The complicated
And-
part is when I have to pack everything together. So I'll need a lot of things if I want to repair anything in the field. So yeah.
Mario is asking. Wait, and Mario is replying to himself. Nice. So, have you ever crashed the drone before, and what were the coincidences for everyone? And this question is also connected to the training session Rui just told about. We'll get some good footage of falling drones.
Yeah, I guess it could be a bit risky, but whatever. If it's these small drones, why not? Like,
Yeah.
I don't
So
know. It's a crash story time.
Like, do you have the super big crash which you remember until today?
I'm thinking of it. Once I was flying line of sight, which means without the goggles, and I'm really bad at it. I haven't practiced it so far. But I had a crash before, so my video transmitter broke, which meant that I couldn't use the goggles. And I was just flying with my friends, and they were asking me to do tricks. And I was trying to do tricks, but I flipped upside down. I panicked. I put the throttle on maximum, and yes, I crashed. But basically, I only broke probably only just VTXs, which are these parts. Actually, this is also a broken one. I just found it, my stuff. So yeah, it doesn't work because I broke it once. But basically, I only broke antennas and propellers so far, which is a really good thing.
Yeah, I've crashed at least 2 times or 3 different models.
With the DJI or
with DJI, with the models before that were not. They had some sensors, but not all around. So I don't know. I crashed while flying backwards, or yeah, the first time I flew, I tried to fly it inside, and well, it decided because that's the thing. Like the DJI drones, I guess they decide to go back home, so where they started from. And I remember the first time it's like we tried to fly it inside, and it got confused. We were coming from outside to inside. It got confused with the whole environment, and they said, no, this is too much. I'm going back home. This is dangerous. So it started going up, and like to go up, it goes like 30 meters in the air. So it was going against the roof, and we were like, nah, come on. We couldn't stop it from going. So it was like,
Yeah, actually, we can go.
Yeah, it was a funny moment.
So with DJI, it's actually quite dangerous to fly inside like concrete and metal things because the whole system is related to GPS. So it's not a recommended
it's probably something like that. But it was the first time we flew it, and it went really well outside. It was like, this is super easy. Let's take it in, and yeah. Well,
and anybody who's flying on regular basis with a drone, I think at least once crashed or more times.
Yeah, it's a normal thing, especially with these things. Actually, your YouTube channels and people are encouraging everyone to not to crash, but to test your limits. And if you know where are your limits, if you know when you have to stop, basically you have better looking footages. And yes, as you've seen with the freestyle, those are quite risky moves. But if you're not doing that, you won't be able to have those awesome footages.
Yeah, luckily I've never crashed a drone to the point where it's destroyed. Like maybe some part is like needs to be put back inside or something, but most of the time it was nothing ever too serious.
Once I fail saved when I was like around 500 meters above the sky, above the ground, and I just fail safe means that the connection between the radio and the receiver in the drone is lost, and I set it up like a way when it get lost that then the whole drone disarms and will just fly out from the sky basically. So it was just falling. Yes, it was falling for like 30 seconds or so, and I could see everything from the goggles, but I couldn't do anything. So yeah, that was
and 500 meters from there, it broke down now when it came.
It didn't. It landed like it crashed like 1 or 2 meters next to concrete. So I was quite lucky with that.
Okay.
And only the battery itself got a little bit crushed. And yeah, I won't use that battery, but I got quite lucky with that.
Okay, cool.
Did it ever happen that you start to feel dizzy when you were flying too fast and like?
Yes, it have. At the beginning, especially, it's really disturbing. I had to sit down or lay my back to something, so I won't. Especially when I'm doing slow tricks, I tend to tilt my whole body sometimes, and I mean, it's not bad in a way that I won't get dizzy. I just get confused because it's out of body experience, and basically your mind wants to say that you're inside the drone. So whatever you're doing in the real life, you want to put it into the stick movement. So if I step forward, then maybe I also want to move the stick forward, and it's actually really hard to say how it feels. But once I try to fly from a car, basically, my father was driving and I was flying around the car, and it was a Hungarian road, so it was quite shitty, and I was bumping around, and I tried to correct everything with the sticks, even though I was just flying really smooth with my drone. And it's hard to explain, because you will think that, I mean, who cares? Like, you just have to fly, you just have to focus on your drone. But since you're feeling like you're inside the drone and the drone doesn't move, but you're moving, then it will get you confused.
Yeah, but actually your mind can believe, because my friend has a VR headset and I played a video game with the steering wheel and driving a car. I crashed the wall and I almost vomited after that. It started spinning and everything. And then he put on a video which I had a VR headset, but just in a regular chair like this. and there was a video of roller coaster. And he recorded me, what am I doing? And I was sitting, screaming and doing this on the chair. Even it was not moving me, my body was acting according to what's happening in the, what you can see.
Yeah, I mean, it's the same and the opposite at the same time. So
So
yeah.
this is why you are lying in the bed when you are flying.
No, I got used to it, so I can stand basically anywhere. So you can get used to it over time. It's not that hard, and especially when I'm using these goggles, it has a really small field of view, so it's like watching a TV from distance. So it's not a whole screen.
And it's not really like the VR, so it's not like you move your head and
no, it's not the same.
Ah, yeah, okay.
so.
Actually, there are some I could modify my drone, so if I move my VR headset, I have to buy another goggles, but there are some ones which has gyroscopes in it, and I could put a camera which can follow all the information which the gyro sends from the goggles. I don't know if it's clear or not, but basically it means that if I move my head, then the camera on the drone can move also.
Yeah. But just the camera, not the drone.
Yes, the camera. I think I could set it up that the drone itself would, but it wouldn't be a good thing.
Or even a 360 camera on the.
Yes.
Yeah, that's probably cool.
But I haven't tried it. It's really expensive and really fragile, actually. So I don't think I will. And Rui, I sent you a video on Messenger. I don't know if you received it, but it's basically a video I not forgot to show, but I thought that maybe I won't have time. I was a little bit naive.
I think I will put it in the comments because it will be hard to
play it.
Play it now. Yes.
Okay.
And meanwhile, I wanted to ask that you said that you've been on a competition in Hungary, yeah?
No, I haven't been.
You haven't been?
Yes, I haven't. There are some, but I haven't been, unfortunately.
Okay. Because I wanted to ask that on this national level, how good you are in this flying, or is there anybody who is like much better, or there is still a lot of place to improve for you, or?
There would be, but there are some famous people in this hobby who are like killing it. You can't even see where they are going, and it's really I was searching for it before this, but I couldn't find any videos of those ones. But I mean, I'm not practicing racing, so I've tried it. I have some gates at home, but I'm not practicing that. I haven't found that interesting and enjoyable.
Are you in touch with someone from Hungary or from anywhere else who is doing it on professional level?
The racing part.
Let's say the racing, for example, or building drones.
Not really. I mean, Radek. I know you know Radek. I met a guy from a project, an Erasmus project, and he was also interested in this. So I mean, I started talking with him, and I recommended some parts for him. So yeah, he's also in the hobby.
So he's flying as well now?
Me, I don't think so. He said that because of the virus, all the stuff he ordered, he didn't receive it. So not yet, but he's basically practicing in simulators. So and he watched a lot of videos. So he's also quite experienced. But I have some friends who got into the hobby, and I was helping to them. So but no one who's really professional. Yeah.
So you're just watching videos and learning from internet and doing it by yourself. You don't have someone who is telling you what to do or how should you.
Yes, basically. Maybe I have one. I have someone who is maybe doing it a little bit more professional level as me, but he's not doing FPV. He's more like focused on camera drones, building it for himself. It's in a way it's similar, but not the same. So yeah, I couldn't get too many advices from him. But yeah, so all the troubleshooting, if I have any problems, I have to search for it. But there are some YouTube channels, especially one which has basically video for everything I need. So it's not that complicated, but sometimes I still get stuck. Yeah.
So good news for the people who are watching. They don't need to do it alone. They can text you and you can help them out a little bit.
Yes,
Because
exactly.
you are a few steps ahead of them.
Exactly.
Yep.
So yeah, the hardest part is the beginning. So I can help you recommend some parts if you want to, if you need to. So yes.
Okay. I think we don't have any more comments or anything. So do we? Rico?
No.
No. So yeah, I think we'll call it a day. Tomorrow we will have our last session. It will basically be me, Afonso, and Ogi. We will be talking about making videos, and hopefully you will join to the grand finale of the first season of Cool Collaboration Stay-at-Home Sessions. Vico, would you like to say anything? Nandi also.
Well,
Thank you for
you
coming.
So yeah, thank you
Yeah.
very much for.
Thank you for coming. Thank you
checking
for
out.
your questions. I hope you have a little bit better insight to this whole drone stuff because it's pretty cool and this kind of a hobby, it's more and more interesting and spread it much more than 5 years ago, for example.
Mhm.
So I hope we gave you some new ideas for hobby or what to do during the quarantine.
Yep.
And thank you for watching. Thank you for your comments and questions. See you tomorrow, same time at 7. Much
Yep.
more.
Exactly. Ciao, ciao. Bye bye.
Goodbye.
Goodbye,
Ciao.
everybody. Ciao, ciao.